Okay, this is Math Studies section 8.5, and in this lesson we're going to talk about how to solve for that pesky power of an x. So that starts with something called a logarithm. A logarithm looks like the log, log, base b of a equals x. And what that means, it converts something with a base of b to the power of x equals a. And the calculator, most calculators don't have a log where you can choose the base. They either give you base 10 or base n, which isn't something we're going to talk about. But basically, if you have it in this form, you can use the change of base, that the log of a divided by the log of b is equal to x. Now that might not make too much sense. This is bothering me. But when we do some examples, it should be pretty clear. So I'm going to scroll down then and do these examples. If we have something in exponential form, we can use the change of base property to write it in logs and solve. So what we're used to doing when we solve equations, we always say drop the line. So I'm going to drop the line at the equal sign, and we know to undo a plus with a minus, and to undo a times with a divide, to undo a square with a square root. We're going to undo power of x with a log. We do log of 128. I didn't really leave enough space. And we're going to divide that by log of 4. So on the calculator, you would type log 128. And depending on what calculator you're using, that's going to be in a different spot. But log, that's the log. It opens up a parentheses automatically, so you're going to type 128. And then you have to close that parentheses before you divide. And then you're going to do log 4. So the log of 128 divided by the log 4 is 3.5. What that means is 4 to the power of 3.5 will equal 128. So we'll do the same thing over here. When we do our log, I'm going to do log 6 divided by log 216. And so I always get the question, how do you know which one goes on top and how do you know which one goes on bottom? And the easiest way that I can remember that is that this is the base, because it's the bottom of an exponent, and the base goes on the bottom of the fraction. So if it's the bottom of an exponent, it's the bottom of the fraction. So log 6 divided by log 216 comes out to 0.3 repeating. 0.3 repeating. And so 216 to the power of 0.333333 will give you 6. The next one gets a little more complicated. We actually need to use a line on this one because I need to get rid of that 4. Before I can do the log step, I need to have everything else isolated. So I need to get rid of this 4 on both sides. That'll leave me with 10 to the power of x equals 4650 divided by 4. 1162.5. Now I can do the log step, and that is log of 1162.5 divided by log of 10. And I get 3.1 if I round it. 3.065, but I'm going to round to 3.1. And the last one, I'll have a couple steps to undo. I'm going to start by subtracting 4 from each side of the equation. That leaves 2 times 3 to the x equals 14. Next, I will divide by 2 on each side of the equation. And that leaves 3 to the power of x equals 7. My final step is the log, and I will do log of 7 divided by log of 3. And that is x equals 1.77. Okay, I have a word problem, so I'll scroll down for that. That says an initial investment of $500 is invested at 8.5% interest, compounded annually. How long will it take for the balance to grow to $800? So I have my initial amount, 1.085 is my rate. Remember, that's 100% plus 8.5% as a decimal to the power of x equals 800. First, I need to get rid of the 500 by dividing both sides. So 1.085 to the x equals 1.6. And then we have our log step. We'll log 1.6 divided by log 1.085. And that comes out to 5.76, which means it'll take about 5.76 years for the balance to grow from $500 to $800. Okay, that's it for the lesson. Good luck with the exercises, and as always, ask me if you have any questions.